Hello, look who it is. Finally, all week I have been saying I need to make another YouTube video. And so here we are already on Thursday, and I'm just now getting to it. So thank you so much for being here. If this is your first time, thank you. I am Fenella, and I retired at age 52 and am a reseller of lots of beautiful things. And I travel, so you can see some of my travel shorts on my channel. And I'm thinking about like what's next. So today's video, I was just talking with my sister earlier, and I was thinking this morning that is so fascinating that, when you're 10 and people ask you, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you're like, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, a lawyer, that kind of thing. I feel like now, people aren't necessarily asking you, what do you want to be when you retire? But like, what do you want to be, when you're age 52 or 53? Like that question should be asked because we are always evolving, right? And so I just think it is so fascinating how it's almost like a circular thing, right? Because at this, bigger age of 53 years old, I've had a birthday since I retired. I'm still asking the question, like, what do I want to be? Even though I love reselling, I very, very, very much love traveling. I very, very, very much love traveling. And when I travel, because I have an eBay store, depending on how many days we're going to be gone, I have to close up my store, or I have to let my buyers know, that I'm going to be gone until this amount of time. So I won't be able to ship it until I come back, that whole thing. But my sister she has her own business as well, but she actually makes body butter. And so she actually has to hand make all of her products, where of course me, as a reseller, I am purchasing things and then reselling them. So a little bit of a different process. And so we were talking, and she was just thinking like out loud, like, is this really what I want to do? And it just made me think of, it's so fascinating because again, and I'm kind of all over the place just in this second, so just bear with me. One of the things that I believe is like sometimes as siblings, there is something in our brains that we end up on the same, like sometimes thinking or going to the same things that happened with my other sister last week. She sent me something. I was like, oh my gosh, I was just watching this like 3 days ago. Anyway, so it was just fascinating that my sister had been thinking about, her own journey, and how she wanted to continue as a small business owner, in her body butter. And I love reselling and I love selling on Whatnot. I do that as well. I don't do it as often because eBay sales have just been really, really excellent for me. Probably in the past, let's see, this is January. So January for sure. It's only been 15 days. December, November, eBay's been really, really good. So my stuff is being sold. And so Whatnot is, a different medium for selling. It's live selling, which I like doing. But there really hasn't been a big need for it. It's just interesting because tomorrow I'm having a show in the morning. Anyway, this whole idea of what do you want to be, when you turn 53 or 52, it is a question that I never thought that I would be asking myself as a person, who left corporate America almost a year ago. That would be January the 31st of 2025. I'm going a full year now without going into a corporation or getting earnings, from a corporation as an employee. It'll be a full year here, January the 31st. And it's so interesting because I haven't had a time, where I haven't been in that kind of scenario since I was in college, where, I was working, but I think I was working for Revco. I worked for an officers club, like my second and third year. But like, so it's been like since 1991, which is feels like forever ago, which is the year I graduated from high school, and I even think I was working then. So it's been a long time since I've been in a situation where I'm not earning wages from somebody, and I never saw this coming. And it's a blessing. It is a blessing. It is everything I asked for, which was to be able to have full control of my own time, right? I mean, that is so sacred to me. It has taken a lot of hard work, a lot of long days, a lot of long months and years, toiling away, working for the company that I work for, putting up with a lot of things that nobody should have to put up with, and just really, really, really staying focused on what was I trying to accomplish during that particular chapter of my life. Of course, my kids are older. My son will be 30 this year, and I have a daughter who is always the age of the year. She was a millennial baby. She's 25. Her birthday is coming up at the end of this year, and I, with them, it's like, man, during that time period when they were younger, of course, not divorced, it's like, the purpose is like survival, right? I mean, you stay with your company, you stay in your organization because, you have to, you're the breadwinner, right? Your spouse is gone. And so for sure, that was a situation where, I was staying with my company. I was not pleased, but I just kind of chalk that up as ups and downs, right? Every place you go, there's going to be something, even in your own business, like I have. Sometimes buyers will get upset over different things and send me emails and reach out to eBay and all of that, but that is far between. I mean, that happens not so often. And, of course, when you work for somebody in a corporation, that could happen like every hour, I mean, a little bit of an exaggeration, but not really. Like there's always something, like people are on pins and needles in corporations, for different reasons. And so it's just, so during the period, of course, that I needed that stability, of course, my company was there. I was very grateful, but the thing that we need to realize, and I mentioned this in other videos, of course, we're trading our time for money because you're not going to get the time back. You can grow the money again, depending on what your health and your drive and dedication is to earning money for yourself and making a way for yourself. You can get the money back, but the time you never get back. And so again, this idea of like evolving and, becoming as being an overused word, but, moving toward that next, big change, it's like it doesn't end. It doesn't end even after you retire. And, I think younger people, I thought when people retire, they're winding down. Some people even call it, there was a term that we used to use in my old company, sunsetting, right? Like you're going down, and that mental model. And in my head, it's like, okay, you're just kind of really just kind of smooth sailing. And it's not like that at all. It is not like that at all. I think that is one version, I guess, of retirement. But for me, of course, I've been running my small business before I decided that I was going to go ahead and accept the retirement and last year and go ahead and retire. And so, it wasn't like, okay, I mean, I knew what I was going to do because I was already doing it, after work hours and, on the weekends. So that really wasn't a mystery. But even now, again, almost 1 year post my retirement, and even though I've been reselling for, several years, probably since 2023, now I'm thinking like, man, what is next, right? So anyway, it's just interesting. It is just interesting that, when you are a person who is like me, who is, I guess, intentional about like self-examination and really thinking about how you're spending your time, and is this the way you want to spend your time? Not saying people don't do it, in their 20s and 30s, because they do, because people quit jobs and go to other jobs all the time. All the time. It's just a little bit unique when you spend so much time at one entity and then you retire, and now you don't have that, which was a choice. Retirement was a choice, and it was a good choice. It was a very, very good choice for me, because I always wanted to be able to be younger in retirement and be able to travel and enjoy my life more, instead of waiting until I'm 65, or whatever the number is now for retirement. Because really, again, I think I've said this before on another video, middle age is not 50. Middle age is much earlier, because that means that we're not going to die until we're 100. Well, we don't know when we're going to die. That is the cold hard reality. Even if you keep yourself in shape and you eat right and all of those things, we don't know when our day is. But indeed, we all have our day. And so again, I always wanted to retire earlier, because my thinking way was, my company is not my company is too small for my ambitions, right? That was always what I thought. Always what I thought. For sure, once my kids got up to like teenagers, ninth grade, 10th grade, that was always my thought. Specific, like my son, who's older, like, it's like, okay, we need to be planning to get out of here, earlier than later, because you want to do something else. And I work for a very good company, a large motor manufacturing company in these United States, and the benefits were good and all of that. But again, this idea of evolving, it's just so fascinating, because again, you think that, once I don't have any, barely got on any lip gloss. Lord, y'all had to excuse me. I'm getting ready to go work out, but I wanted to do this video because I've been thinking about it most of the day. When I got up this morning, I was thinking about, man, like, what do you want to be is like still relevant, in 2026, for this 53-year-old. And, it's a question I think, we have, of course, earlier, that people ask earlier in life. And, as a child, you have no clue really about anything when it comes to work. And so you just, say what you hear in school and that kind of thing. Of course, now, these kids might be saying content creator, or, I'm sure they're not saying that, and I'm aging myself, but that was what was, doctor, lawyer, like teacher, like those kind of occupations. But now you can do anything. I mean, now the occupations are like you name it, it's an occupation. So anyway, but I was thinking about that this morning. And so all day I've been thinking, okay, I need to make sure that I do this video, because I just think it is a thought-provoking question that still is asking for an answer for me at 53 years old, in this part of my journey. And so I wonder for you, if life is asking you that question as well. And it doesn't matter if you're still working and not retired, or, if you're planning on retire, like you're retiring the end of this year or next year or in 3 years or in 4 years, like, is that question still relevant to you? Like, what do you want to be, when you're, fill in the blanks, when you're retired, or, when you're 52 or 53 or 54 or 55, on and on and on, all the way up, I guess to, infinity. Like, what do you want to be when? Like, that question is so intriguing to me, because it is a question that is still being asked, again, after all of this time. So just fascinating. So I just wanted to make a video, and please drop your comments and let me know what you think about that. Because again, I thought I was done with that question. Of course, people say the old norm for, my old company was, if you don't have a plan for what you're going to do when you retire, because of the busyness and surrounding what we did at my company, a very, very busy, fast paced, that if you don't have a plan, you will die within 2 years. That used to be the norm for people that work like on the manufacturing floor. I think it primarily applied to. And so, in many ways, right, we watch that over and over again because people don't adapt and adjust, right? They fall into something else, and and when you don't have a good mental health life and a good healthy eating and all of those things, you can slip into really bad habits that could be detrimental to your health as, a human being. And it doesn't matter really what your how long you work there. It's just, that whole idea of leaving a place and now you're trying to figure out who you are without saying, yes, I work for XYZ company, that whole next chapter. So it's just an intriguing question. And I just wonder what you think. Hopefully this video wasn't too rambly, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.